Okay, so now that you guys know a little bit about constraints, I'm going to teach you guys how to create some actual joints. That'll then be the basis for the skeleton that we then use to rig this little cube rectangle guy. So if you open up the file, it's just this little rectangle guy that I gave you guys, and how I like to create my little skeleton is by going into these different viewports so that you know you're going in one specific direction. So I'm going to go into the front view here, and I'm just going to hit 4 so that I work in wireframe, and I'm going to go ahead and start making the skeleton. So as you can imagine, you would go to skeleton and then create joints. So you'll be using that tool, and then what I'll do is I'll make a low, we'll call it we'll make a middle joint right here. So what I'll do is I'll actually hold down X, and holding down X snaps it to this middle point on the grid. And what I'll do next is I'll make a middle back control and hold down X, maybe like right here, and then I'll make a upper back control about, let's say, right here. Maybe we can move this down a little bit, so we can fix that later. But if we hit enter, this is our little chain. So since I don't exactly like where this guy is, I can hold down the D key. Oh, hold on, let me hit W first. Then if I hold down the D key, you can actually take this guy and move him, let's say, down to like right here. So then these are 3 different points on the spine that then this guy will be able to rotate around. So then what I'll do is then I'll create a neck joint, maybe like right here. And then I'll create a head joint up here, holding down X and just snapping it to this middle part right here. And then I'll hit enter. And then what I'll do is I'll take this guy and I'll hold down X and I'll snap it to right here. Take this guy, hold down X, snap it to right here, so that way I know they're both along this middle axis right here. And then to get this guy connected to this guy, you just select him first, select him, hit the P key, and now they're all sequenced in their own order. And if you want to change like the relative size, the radius as they call it, so like here you can see the radius is like 0.655. If you just want to make it like say 0.75 for all of them, you can do that. Just go in 0.75. Sometimes they change based on, I don't know, the order in which you make them. Sometimes you want them to be a little bit easier to see. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. But now this chain works where if I were to rotate this guy, it would rotate the whole chain. Rotate this guy, rotates just from there. This guy, just from there, and then so forth and so on. So the reason I had this neck control here is because I want the head to be able to rotate around this axis. So knowing kind of the anatomy of like where you want things to rotate around is pretty important. So like for me, I know this is right around where I want the upper back, because then the shoulder is going to be connected right around here, and the elbow, and then we won't have a wrist, but you know, you could potentially have a hand out here and then the wrist would be right here. So from here, let's continue with the arms, since I just talked about them. So we'll go back into this create joints tool, which is skeleton create joints, or since it was right here, I'm just going to click here. And then let's say about right here is where I want my shoulder to be. And then I want my elbow to be about right here. Then I want my wrist to be about right here. And then I'll hit enter. And then same kind of thing. To get this shoulder parented to this upper back, we select this guy first, hold down shift, and then select P. And now, whenever we rotate around this guy, the arm will just kind of follow. And this is kind of neat because if you have a symmetrical character, we can just kind of take this guy and do mirror just like we would mirroring geometry. And go to skeleton, mirror joints, make sure it's going in the X and Y direction, and we can hit, maybe that was the wrong direction. Let's see, skeleton, mirror joints, maybe it's the, try YZ. Okay, YZ was the right direction. Okay, but now it didn't have to parent, it's perfectly symmetrical, and you don't have to worry about it. So it kind of helps out. And then we can do the same thing with the legs. We can create a joint. Kind of works out that it's on this exact grid point, so I can hold down X and snap it right here. And then I can select right here for the next one. And then let's say for the ankle right here. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go into this side view, hold down 4, and then I'm going to create a heel. Let's say, let's say about like right here. Let's just put it where the heel would be. And then I'm going to create a endpoint for the foot down here. Then we can hit enter. And we have the little leg control here. And we can go back to the front, make sure everything looks good. And we can select this guy. If you want to get rid of all the axes, like if this guy's kind of like in your way to select or like the rotate is, if you just hit Q, that's this guy up here. So if you select this guy, hold down Shift, select that guy, and then press P, it'll have that guy. So we want the hip to be kind of like the main controller, so that way the leg can kind of move, you know, independently, the arm can move independently, and each of these back points can move like independently. So it's kind of all about how you set it up. So then this guy, we can do skeleton, mirror joints, same kind of thing, X and Y, and it should mirror it pretty well. And now we can check in perspective. We can hit 4. Looks like it's pretty in the middle here of everything, which is pretty nice. And we can kind of see like, okay, this leg moves out this way. This leg moves out this way. But sweet. And then we're going to go into our Windows outliner. Bring it over in here. And we are going to name every single one of these joints. So we'll show you how that works. And this is extremely important for rigging, to keep up with all of your joints and curves and everything, to know exactly what it is you're selecting, because it gets, I mean, this is pretty, I know it's extensive, but it's pretty basic as far as rigging goes. And there's an assignment that I'll show you guys later where you have 3 different hip controls, and I mean it can get as much as 10 down the line. So knowing which joint is what is pretty helpful down the line. So this guy will be main. This guy will be, let's just call it back. This guy will be upper underscore back. This guy will be neck. And this guy will be head. This guy we can name, this will be the left shoulder, so we'll do L underscore shoulder. This guy will be the left elbow, so L underscore elbow. This guy will be the left wrist, so left underscore wrist. And then the same thing just on the right side, R underscore shoulder, R underscore elbow, R underscore wrist. And same thing with the legs. And I know it gets very tedious. Usually, well, no, I'll save that for another time. This will be the left hip. So we'll do L underscore hip. This will be the knee, so L underscore knee. This will be the ankle, so left underscore ankle. This will be the heel, left underscore heel. And then we can just say toe, left underscore toe. This will be same kind of thing, except on the right underscore hip, right underscore knee, and then right underscore ankle. Right underscore heel, right underscore toe. And yeah, it takes a couple minutes, but at least now you know exactly where each control goes to what. So what we're going to do is we're going to, if you don't have these guys shown, some of these little bars with arrows have more menu selection. So kind of look for this guy. And then where it says like joints right here, just click that off. And then we have all the geometry here, and we can put that, let's just combine it into one. So we'll go back to modeling, go mesh, combine, and then we can go back to rigging, and then bring this guy back, and then we can select this rig, go back to 5, select the guy, and we can go to skin and bind skin. And now, whenever it should come up, you know, kind of rainbow looking like this, now whenever you move stuff, it's controlling the body. So a little bit tedious here, but pretty cool, and shows you kind of the basics of, you know, how rigging is supposed to work here. So not super clean, and there's a process called weight painting that I'll teach you guys how to do, but it basically means like if I move up the right leg, this left, you know, part of the body doesn't get influenced at all. Neither should the you know, this part of the leg, just the foot. So that process is a little bit different, but for now, this is how you make a basic rig. Not too terribly complicated. It's just knowing about the joint structure and everything like that, the hip being the main and everything kind of branching off from there, and knowing what parts are the middle and which areas you want to kind of rotate around for the neck, the shoulders, the hips, the knees. You kind of get the picture. But that is how you make a basic rig. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. As always, if you guys have any questions about it, please do not hesitate to ask. This is, I know, a little bit hard to follow sometimes, but hopefully it makes sense, and hopefully you guys learn something cool.